All right, so we've got a really interesting set of materials here, all about learning English.
Yeah, yeah.
And it seems like you're really focused on like sounding natural and fluent in everyday conversations,
Right.
especially those kind of quick exchanges that can trip people up sometimes.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot about these little awkward situations,
Yeah.
like forgetting someone's name, which we all do.
Oh, tell me about it.
And there are some great tips here
Yeah.
to help navigate those moments gracefully.
Before we even get to that, though,
Uh-huh.
I'm really seeing this phrase, everyday English, everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what exactly does that even mean?
Well, I think it's all about the nuances
Mhm.
of informal language.
Right.
Everyday English is using phrases and expressions that
Yeah.
feel natural and spontaneous
Yeah.
in casual settings.
Okay.
It's less about perfect grammar and more about connecting with people
Mm-hmm.
in a relaxed and authentic way.
So less like a textbook,
Exactly.
more like a real person.
Exactly. Think about it like this. Saying how do you do can sound really stiff and formal.
Yeah.
How's it going? Or what's up?
Yeah.
Those are much more casual.
Uh-huh.
And they can make a world of difference in how you come across.
Right. So it's more like the language you'd hear like in a coffee shop or at a party,
Precisely.
not in a boardroom.
Exactly. And the materials you've shared
Yeah.
actually offer some great examples of these phrases.
Okay.
One that really stood out to me was, in a bit of a hurry.
Oh, yeah?
It's so common,
Yeah.
and it perfectly captures that feeling of being rushed without sounding too abrupt.
I use that one all the time.
Right.
It's way more relatable
Yeah.
than saying something like, I'm pressed for time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The beauty of everyday English is that it allows you to express yourself in a
Right.
genuine and relatable way.
Slipped my mind. It's another one.
Oh, yeah.
I noticed that in the materials, too.
Right.
And that's perfect for those awkward moments when you just totally blank,
Mm-hmm.
especially on someone's name.
The dreaded name, forgetting.
Oh, yeah.
But it's fascinating because slipped my mind acts as a social lubricant.
Okay.
Instead of just saying, I forgot your name,
Uh-huh.
which is embarrassing for everyone.
Yeah.
This softens the blow. It's just the information is just temporarily misplaced,
Yeah.
not totally gone.
Like it's in there somewhere. Just got to dig it out.
Exactly. And this brings us back to those awkward situations.
Yeah.
These materials aren't just about vocabulary.
Okay.
They're about giving you tools for smoother social interaction.
One of the sources actually had a whole story about someone named Marco
Oh, yeah.
who forgot his uncle's name at a family reunion.
I remember that one.
It was hilarious
It was.
and also so relatable.
It shows how universal these situations really are.
Mhm.
We've all been there.
Yeah. But what I thought was really interesting was Marco's strategy
Yeah.
for like handling that whole thing.
All right.
Instead of just panicking, he asked for his uncle's business card.
He did?
Asking for a business card at a family reunion?
Yeah.
That's kind of odd.
On the surface, maybe?
Okay.
But think about what's happening there.
Right.
By asking for the card, he shifted the focus
Mm.
away from his memory lapse.
Yeah.
And he gave himself a way to get that name back.
It's brilliant.
It is.
I would never have thought of that.
It's like a secret agent move
Yeah.
for social awkwardness.
Right. And it really highlights how everyday English is not just about the right words.
Mm-hmm.
It's about understanding these unspoken rules
Right.
and subtle strategies
Yes.
that make conversations flow.
Exactly.
That's so true. It's like having the secret code book, you
Yeah.
know, for navigating tricky social situations.
Right.
So beyond just individual phrases
Mm.
like slipped my mind,
Right.
what other strategies do these materials have
Yeah.
for sounding more fluent in everyday English?
Well, one thing that really struck me was the focus on just these little tweaks to common phrases.
Okay.
So instead of saying, how are you,
Right.
which can sound a bit formal,
Yeah.
they suggest things like, how's it going?
Mm.
Or what's up?
I've noticed native speakers do that all the time.
Yeah,
But like, do those little changes actually make a difference?
they totally do.
Yeah.
They add this sense of informality and camaraderie. It's like
Mhm.
switching from a stiff handshake to a warm hug.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, it's about creating a more comfortable atmosphere,
Right.
more connected.
That's exactly.
And these subtle shifts
Yeah.
apply to other parts of everyday English, too.
Okay.
Like contractions,
Oh,
using I'm instead of I am,
Oh,
or
hmm.
can't instead of cannot.
right.
That instantly makes you sound more casual and natural.
I've always struggled with contractions.
Oh, really?
They seem so informal.
But that's the point.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's about mirroring how people actually talk.
Right.
You want to sound less like you're reading from a textbook and more like you're having a natural conversation.
So not about being grammatically perfect all the time.
No.
It's about using the language in a way that feels authentic.
Exactly. And that's what makes everyday English so engaging.
Going back to the materials for a sec,
Sure.
I noticed they also highlighted some everyday phrases that might not seem tricky at first glance,
Yeah.
but could actually trip up non-native speakers.
Right.
One that stood out to me was contact details.
Oh, that's a great one. Contact details might seem straightforward, but we use it constantly.
Oh, we do.
Can I get your contact details?
Yeah,
Let me give you my contact details.
It's everywhere.
It's so ingrained in our everyday conversations.
It is.
But for someone learning English, it's super important to know.
Absolutely. It's like a fundamental building block for smooth communication.
And it comes up in social and professional situations.
All the time.
Speaking of social situations,
Yeah.
the materials had some good tips for dealing with those awkward moments.
Right. Like forgetting someone's name.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
It does. And while slip my mind is a good go-to.
There are some other clever tactics, too.
Oh, like what?
For instance, they suggested things like, your name has just slipped my mind.
Okay.
Or help me out. What was your name again?
I like those.
Yeah.
They're a bit more direct,
Yeah.
but still lighthearted.
Right.
And remember Marco's strategy?
Oh, yeah, with the business card?
Exactly. That could actually work in other situations, too.
It could. Like, if you've forgotten how you know someone at a party,
Okay.
you could subtly ask, how do you know host's name?
Ooh, that's clever.
It gives you...
To reintroduce themselves
Exactly.
without making you look like you've totally forgotten them.
Right. It's like social sleuthing.
It is.
Yeah.
And this all shows how fluency in everyday English is not just about memorizing vocabulary.
Yeah.
It's about having these strategies
Exactly.
for all these awkward situations that come up.
It's about thinking on your feet
Right.
and having those smooth conversational moves ready to go.
Yeah, it's like having a mental Swiss Army knife for these social situations.
Right.
Always have the right tool ready.
Exactly. And the great thing is, anyone can develop these skills. It's not about being an extrovert or having a perfect memory. It's about learning the strategies and practicing them.
Until they're just second nature.
Exactly. It's about feeling confident in any conversation.
These materials have given us a great foundation
They have.
for building that confidence.
Yeah, they've shown us that fluency in everyday English.
Right.
It's achievable and, dare I say, enjoyable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They've taken something that can be intimidating, especially for people learning English as a second language,
Right.
and made it feel approachable and fun.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Language is a tool for connection, for sharing experiences, for building relationships.
Right.
When you feel confident using language,
Yeah.
it opens up so many possibilities.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
what's the one big takeaway you want our listener to remember?
I'd say don't be afraid to embrace the messiness of everyday English.
A messiness.
Yeah, it's in those imperfections, those stumbles, those moments when you're searching for the right word.
Right.
That's where the magic
It's
happens.
about letting go of trying to be perfect and just focusing on connecting.
Exactly. And remember, everyone makes mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
Even native speakers have those moments
I
where
know.
they trip over their words or forget a name.
It happens.
It's all part of human communication.
So think about everything we've talked about today. What are some situations in your own life
Yeah.
where you could use these phrases or
Right.
strategies? Maybe try using in a bit of a hurry when you're running late.
Yeah.
Or try Marco's business card trick if you forget someone's name.
Exactly.
The key is to keep practicing and keep experimenting.
And most importantly, have fun with it.